This is Dove Barron. Dove has always been an athlete, right? Yep. He is now a personal coach and motivational speaker who had to overcome his own tragedy before he could get a second chance at life. Now, Dove, you look death in the face. Now, when I say that, I mean literally look death in the face.
Yep.
What were you doing?
I was free climbing in British Columbia, Canada, where I live.
Free climbing is rock climbing.
It's rock climbing for the very stupid. It's rock climbing, but
why do they
in my case, at least.
Why do they call it free? Does that mean no rope?
Exactly.
Why would someone climb without a rope?
Adrenaline junkies.
I guess he told me. What happened?
I was about 120 feet up. I was climbing with a buddy, and he was about 60 feet up. And it's kind of interesting, and this kind of ties in, but about just before I reached 120 feet up, which is 12 stories, I looked back at my friend and said, "You don't have to come this way, this is the hard way." And that was kind of a metaphor for me. And at that moment, I reached up for a rock, the rock dislodged, and it dislodged a bigger rock that hit me in the face and knocked me down.
12 stories down.
And I landed on my face on solid rock.
And what happened to your face?
Well, when I was at the bottom, I was laid in a pool of my own blood, and my friend scrambled down to see if I was okay. Figured I was dead, and was calling my name. There was no response. Miracle after miracle, really.
I don't see anything on your face.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? I've had 6 reconstructive surgeries.
Am I pretty yet? Yes, you're pretty. You're pretty to me. I think it's even prettier because you're alive. Dove broke most of the bones in his face. When he hit the ground, he hit it at 70 miles per hour. Yep. We'll be right back. Conscious of anything? You know how people hear sounds, or there's near-death experiences?
Well, I actually had many near-death experiences, but not at that time. It was during the time when I got to the hospital.
You had a near-death experience on the way to the hospital, or in the hospital?
I had several near-death experiences on the way to the hospital, several in the hospital.
Tell me about that.
Well, you know, you always hear about this tunnel of light, and there's all these beautiful angels and all this wonderful stuff. It's not always like that, and mine wasn't. There was a real sense of having to fight to be back in my body, a real sense of having to fight for my soul to be back here. And it wasn't about going to the light and suddenly be giving this great choice. It was like I wanted to come back. And I was in the hospital, and my mother came to visit me. And my mother said, you know, she was crying. She'd flown all the way from England. She was crying. She was very upset. And I opened an eye with face all wired closed and one eye that I could open at the time, and said, "Don't cry. It's the best thing that could have happened to me." Now, my mother went, "Oh my God, he's got brain damage." But I really believed that. I believed that emotionally, spiritually, in every sense, and didn't consciously know why it was true. I just knew it was true. And then I felt like I was going to die again, and then I went into another near-death experience, and my daughter was with me. My daughter at the time was 14. She was with me, and she said that it was her and I in the room, and she said that she saw what looked like a mist, or the room went very silent, and something seemed to come out of me, something to raise. And she just screamed and said, no, she knew I was going to die. She said, "No, come back." And she said in that moment, it all went back in me. I opened my eyes, and I came around again. And the recovery is long. I mean, it was 2 to 3 years for me, as well as all the reconstructive surgeries. The sad thing was, I looked fine in 6 months. In 6 months, I had a reconstructive surgery. People didn't know me, thought I was fine. But emotionally, the damage inside, the spiritually damage inside, the questions, all that constant why, questions, questioning God, questioning yourself, questioning your belief systems. And then you'd say, well, you know, I've got nothing left. I mean, that was how I felt. I felt like I had nothing left. No belief system, no faith, nothing. And I got to look at my life and say, why am I here? Why was I spared? Why did God save me? Or what, you know, whatever you believe in. But why am I here? Because you're here for a reason, or else you would have died. And if it's not your time, it's not your time. Even if you're the world champion rock diver, like myself.
The world champion rock diver.
Well, there's nobody else who survived.
We'll be right back.